Hi everyone, it's Barry from Jerusalem. This week's Parsha is Kedoshim, and it says, Tiyeh kadosh ki ani kadosh. What does that mean? Be holy because I'm holy. What does the holiness mean? It's quite an esoteric concept because nobody can really put their finger on it because it's not concrete. But the bottom line is, the omnipotent creator in his being, in his essence, doesn't have physical being. So what makes the distinguishment between holy and the profane is when he is near us in his essence. So the Jews were chosen to try to bring this character of holiness into the world and to connect and become pure. What does it mean to be pure in our thoughts? That from our thoughts to the execution, to the action of the thoughts that we want to do in the mitzvot, in the good deeds that we're looking to do, not the bad deeds, we are holy. The bad deeds are called sins or aveira or transgression. So tiyeh kadosh ki ani kadosh, he's saying to the Jewish people, you be holy because I am holy. And that's what I want you to bring to the other nations. So we look, counting the Omer, right? We don't count down like they do in Nassau. We count up. We're counting up 49 days. Today is day 13th of the Omer. 13 is a very interesting number, right? The other nations look at it as something hocus pocus, evil. Friday the 13th. Whoa. In our tradition, 13 is tov. It's good. It's holy. And there are, the text in the Torah have broken down God's kindness or his essence or his holiness into 13 attributes. Adoshem kel rachum v'chanun erech apayim rav chesed ve'emet noseh chesed le'alafim noseh avam v'fesha v'chatav v'nakeh. Compassion, mercy, kind, all these things. This is the essence of Hashem. That when we do go off the path of holiness, when we transgress, all we have to do is call out to him in prayer. And using one of these 13 or many of them, we have the potential to be forgiven. So the Jewish people, as I was saying, there's Mazal, there's the constellations, and then there's Hashem. So Hashem, when he chose us and we chose him, we taken us out above the constellations. And all the trials and tribulations that the Jewish people are experiencing is actually brings us closer to Hashem. If we have the right mindset, if we have positive energy, if we have negative energy, we have doubt. If we have doubt is another name for Amalek. Amalek is the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. But the rabbis tell us the heart has two inclinations, the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Ra. So we have to choose. And our brothers, other nations choose. They choose their own, they make up their own Torah. You have our tradition is that one of building, one of kindness. These 13 attributes on day 13 of the Omer. And we counted Omer with a blessing. And the blessing is counted 49 days until when the Jews left Egypt on Passover, the second night. After Passover they left, they counted 49 days to arrive at Mount Sinai. That is the Omer period. But the Omer is also a produce period too. But you have to learn a little bit to understand it. But the bottom line is, we have to be better. We are not destroyers like some nations we're familiar with. We are builders. We are creators. And we have to get to the bottom of the emes, which is the truth. The truth of the matter, we are chosen to be a light to the other nations. Whether or not they choose to hate us is a separate issue. That's our job. A lot of people taking this chosenness out of jealousy. And a lot of the things that happen in the Torah, in the 5 books of Moses, is because of jealousy. And all the great Jewish personalities trying to correct themselves. And these corrections actually come, the Kabbalah says, comes in Gigulim. You can't understand anything that's really happening without Gigulim. But a lot of the main interpretations that people are trying to express in the here and now in the Torah, that makes it present for our time without getting into the reincarnations, which very few know about. There's one reincarnation. They said that Pinchas, when he was zealous for God, so when the heads of the Israeli tribe and the heads of the Moab came together, he took it upon himself to kill both of the heads. And that's not mercy. There's a judgment to be given for murder, even though it was done for the sake of heaven. But so they say every bris milah is Eliyahu Hanavi, is the prophet, and this prophet is really the prophet of Pinchas. Is really Pinchas, and these personalities, they come back, they're recycled. But I'm not going there. I'm just saying, you have to understand that everything is hidden until the final days. And they say before the final days, things are going to be upside down. People, wrong is right, right is wrong. I mentioned in the last Omer, I was talking about, or the first time I spoke about it, the chesed of Abraham is what God wanted to bring to the world. And he brought this to the Muslim nation, and he brought this to the whole world. But they still have to understand that the purpose of a Torah personality is to be humble. And when you have arrogance that is found in other traditions, where might makes right, and our fellow man is exploited for religious reasons, the politics of religion, we don't see it like that. We see it, a really religious Jew who understands the deepness of the tradition, sees it as true humility. And the one who really understands the tradition in the deepest level, he's not arrogant to say, he doesn't know anything. What does he know? Just the opposite. Just like when Moses was arguing with God to save the Jewish people because they built the golden calf, if you remember that. That's why there was a tabernacle for substitute of the golden calf, and his brother Aaron threw in the gold that they collected, because they had that slave mentality, and they sinned, and God was so upset. But Moses, because he was humble, he says, what about your honor? What about your kavod? Kavod is the honor of God. What about you? What are the nations of the world going to say? They took you out of Egypt to destroy the whole world? How could you take 600,000 people out of Egypt to say, for what purpose? So you have to understand this. Moses was the most humble of all prophets. He didn't care about his ego, his personality. He says, God, if you destroy this people because they built this calf, and you know they are at the 49th level of impurity in Egypt, they almost got lost. You came because you heard their cries, and then you're going to kill them in the dress? That doesn't make any sense. He said, take me out of your book. Wow, God says to himself, I would imagine, this is the right guy for the job. He's really humble. He's not interested in his honor or kavod. He's interested in my honor. I knew why I chose him to be the greatest prophet. 49 levels. Well, in the next revelation, the Shah Hanun, Nun in Gematria is 50. It's 50 levels of wisdom are going to be revealed. All the hidden secrets of all the actions today will be revealed. But it's a saga, it's a story. And it's hidden. But you gotta have faith. You gotta be positive. You gotta understand that every negative is really something closer to the ultimate redemption. So, try to be Kedosh if you're Jewish, which means learn some Torah. See what your identity is about. and have a wonderful Shabbos. I'm doing this early because tonight I'm going to Ben Gurion, and I'm going back to Los Angeles to see my family and simcha and happiness there. It should be interesting to be in LA. If you know any students who would like to hear about my Israeli stories in Israel, I'd be happy to speak to small groups of people. You can contact me, gruberbarry@gmail.com, and I'll try to fit you in my schedule. I'm going to be there for 30 days. I know the students in UCLA having a lot of anti-Semitic things happening to them, and also in USC. It's happening all over the country, this anti-Semitism. But this is signs that the redemption is close. Don't look at it as a bad sign. Look at it as a sign of Hashem is not forgetting the Jewish people. After 4,000 years, you think he's going to forget the Jewish people, the Jewish students in the campuses that are being harassed right now by the other side, by the nations who are jealous of the Jewish people, who are arrogant, really arrogant, who don't say what they mean? A Jew who speaks the truth. These are the powerful words. Our thoughts, I started this, our thoughts have to be pure. And what we're thinking, we shouldn't be thinking to do something to someone else. We should be thinking pure thoughts to get the job done. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a little bit more peace in this world by these presentations. One of these days I'll go live. Anyway, have a good week. Yes, it's Monday in Jerusalem, and I'll be in LA, God willing, traveling through the night. Take care.